Hello there, everybody. My name I'm giving my little testimonial. So let me preface this video to let you all know that I am in the house, so it may be a little bit quiet. But let me start with my experience with the game and how I actually started to come into this. So first off, I first discovered game through RSD, and I fell in love with RSD Julian's techniques and how he did things. And, I went through his products that he had, and, I started to implement that stuff in the field. And just to preface this was almost about a year ago or so. So through that, I started practicing it, and I noticed I wasn't getting as much results, but I said, hey, it's through time. They said through practice, it should happen. So I did it, and, I was starting to get a lot frustrated. And, I decided to look other places. So through looking through the internet, I stumbled upon John stuff. And when I looked through it, I noticed he had all these testimonials, which RSD did not have. So, I'm looking through all these testimonials. I probably looked through all of them. And through that, I said, you know what? Let me give this guy a shot. So I decided, type up the email, sent it to him. And in about 2 or 3 days, he responded to me pretty fast, actually. And when I did get the response, we Skyped the same day. And he told me like where I was at with game, how I started. And I explained all that to him. And so before we even proceeded, he gave me a test to see where I'm at socially and everything of that nature. And that's exactly what he did. And it turns out that he said I was garbage. And, it wasn't a shock to me, but it was just like, okay, he's a coach. He knows what he's talking about. I wanted to buy him stuff, his chances. And so he's talking to me, and he suggested that I get 30-day social skills program, 30 components, skills program. And, through that, he said I should do it like one skill a day for 30 days. So I decided on his word on it. He said, through this, you'll get better. And then he said, come back to me and tell me how your updates are going. So I started to do the 30 skill days to guild challenge by him. And it was hard in the beginning. It was very hard. It was very hard because sometimes I would shy away from it. And then other days I'll be like so happy that I could actually do this stuff. The first day, with the project stuff, it was absolutely terrible. It was so terrible. But, I took my notes on each component, practice it in the mirror, how he suggested it in the videos, and I'll practice it, record myself doing it until it just became like second nature. So that's exactly what I did. And I was practicing it, and it started to work. Like I started to get a lot better at my social skills, with the standing, with the head turn, with the conversational skills, especially since those were very key. And I started doing it, and it started to become easier and easier. Even though I still have my troubles till this day, stuff became a lot easier, and I know how to work from there. So I'm very glad that I was able to do that, and it helped me improve greatly. Because now when I talk to somebody, I now just, it's just I'm able to hold conversation with them, So when I started doing that, I got back to him, and I started telling him all this stuff is going crazy. But the one thing he said, if he wanted me to continue, being trained by him, he said I had to get rid of all my RSD mess. He said it was either his way or the highway. So I really thought to myself, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get rid of all my RSD shit. That day he told me that, I ripped out all the pages I had of RSD in my notebooks, crumpled them up, all the PDFs or Word documents, I threw it all away. I didn't do it immediately the way he suggested. I was still holding on to it in such a manner, but I ended up just tearing it down, and I bet it all on him because I decided to join the military. And before that, I wanted to get laid. So he helped me achieve that goal. And so once I bet all in on him, everything started to work out. I was starting to talk to people, he taught me how to flirt. And then that's how I was able to meet one of my fuck buddies, how I ended up getting laid recently. So I know I met her about one time. I didn't really get to talk to her the first time. We met at an office. And so we're sitting in the office a little bit. I probably exchanged like 4 words with her. but I actually got to talk to her again later in that week. And so when I did, I had a Skype with John. He taught me some flirts. So once I met her that day again, I did those flirts. She was hooked. And even I was surprised. I even had to, text John and tell him like, dude, it totally worked. And then, we started talking a little, building a little connection. And then like less than a week passed by until she invited me to her house. And I remember texting John, telling him like, oh, she just invited me. And then when I got in there, that's all she wrote. Like we got straight down to business and it ended up getting laid, which was crazy. Even though I had some issues, I still ended up doing it. So that was like the greatest achievement for me because that was one of the goals he set out for me and he helped me achieve it. And I'm very grateful for that. And then secondly, after that, I met another girl and did the exact same thing John taught me. Used the flirts, got her to know I'm not her gay best friend. I was able to wiggle my way out of that and assure that I was interested. So that helped a lot. And, I'm still talking to her right now. I actually had one day with her. I got 2 more to go to try to get laid. She's one of those type of girls. So that was pretty good. And so I ended up getting the playbook since he helped me establish my social skills. He recommended I get that. I was kind of hesitant, but he said, if you get this, you should be good. And I started going through the playbook. And it was just basically adding on top of what he said, just your social skills for basically the cake of the portion. And the playbook is the icing. So I ended up getting those and I just started practicing them, took notes on them. My notes that make me understand it, talk about learning how to spice, which is super key. Conversational structure, adding stuff so you get able to hook a girl more, and him just teaching me all these maneuvers. So that turned out to be great for me personally. And I just want to say thank you, John. And I want to once again say that anyone that does RSD stuff, I recommend that you definitely choose him over it because he was the real deal. Because like I said, even when I had my Skypes, I was still very hesitant in what I said. I was very skeptical. And then he was showing me all his infield stuff that he's even shown the public. And he made me ease my mind. I'm like, yo, he's really doing this. I'm like, he's really doing it. I even had to admit, he's the man. He has so many that I couldn't even believe it. And I would recommend anybody that wants to get laid or just get better at your social skills that you should go up to him, crust him and just talk to him. He'll definitely get you right. And I just want to preface, say, thanks a lot, John. I'm definitely going to, keep talking to you in the future and to try to keep getting better at game. I'm a practice 30 still, practice playbook, weekly as much as I can, just so it becomes second nature to me. And I'm still going to practice as much as I can. And I just want to say thanks again, John, for taking me on, being hard on me, cursing me out those days over Skype because you're just you want to be a pussy beta bitch, and I didn't want to. So I want to say thanks again for doing that, John, and definitely keep doing your thing. All these haters that keep doubting you, fuck them, dog. You got this. So I just want to say, thanks again. And for anybody, I definitely recommend John for you guys. So I'll be checking y'all out later and I'll hopefully get more testimonials in the future.